The city glowed beneath them, lights rippling across the marina like scattered jewels. Inside the penthouse suite, the last traces of the wedding lingered, champagne glasses half filled, a bouquet resting carelessly on silk sheets. Amelia stood barefoot by the window, veil discarded, her dress slightly undone. Her eyes drifted between the skyline and her reflection, as if comparing what was real and what wasn't. Behind her, Kareem loosened his cufflinks, his voice calm, but his movements slow, deliberate. They said little. The weight of celebration had given way to silence, thick and unspoken. It was a silence that seemed to listen, as if the city itself waited for something to fracture. Kareem poured 2 glasses of champagne, the sound of bubbles faint against the hum of the air conditioner. Amelia accepted hers, but didn't drink. Her gaze lingered on the horizon, not on the city, but somewhere far beyond it. He noticed. "You look tired," he said gently, almost as an observation. She smiled, mechanical, her eyes avoiding his. For a moment he watched her, sensing something elusive in her silence, a current he couldn't name. The phone on the bedside table vibrated once, a soft glow against the dark. She reached for it too quickly, pressing the screen off before the message could light the room. Kareem said nothing, but the air between them changed, colder, sharper, real. While Amelia disappeared into the bathroom, Kareem glanced at the phone she had left behind. It was locked, but the notification preview remained faintly visible on the black screen. A single phrase flashed before fading. "You shouldn't have married him." The words carved through his calm like a blade. He looked toward the closed door, the sound of running water muffled behind it. When she returned, she looked composed, untroubled. The tension in his jaw went unnoticed as she smiled and brushed past him, slipping the phone back into her clutch. They stood together by the glass wall, the city's reflection flickering over them, a couple made of light and illusion. Later, the champagne sat untouched, the petals wilted slightly on the bedspread. Amelia moved to the dressing table, removing her jewelry piece by piece, her reflection fractured in the mirror's multiple panels. Behind her, Kareem's eyes lingered on the faint bruise along her wrist, something he hadn't noticed before. "What happened?" he asked quietly. She froze. For a second, her mask slipped, a flicker of fear crossing her face before she recovered. "Just the bracelet," she murmured. The explanation was too simple, too prepared. Kareem nodded, but doubt settled like dust. Silent, irreversible. Outside, a sudden gust of desert wind rattled the glass, the sound sharp and brief, like a warning whispered through time. Sometime after 2 a.m., Amelia stood by the door, robe drawn tight around her. Kareem slept lightly, the faint rhythm of his breath steady against the silence. She hesitated, listening, calculating. Then she reached into the drawer, retrieving the small USB drive hidden beneath a folded handkerchief. Her reflection in the polished metal caught the city's faint red glow from below. She turned toward the hallway, her bare feet silent on the marble floor. A soft electronic beep broke the quiet, the sound of the door unlocking. Somewhere, behind her, Kareem stirred, eyes half open, catching only a glimpse of her shadow as it slipped beyond the threshold. The night, once still, had begun to move. Amelia's footsteps echoed faintly through the long corridor, each sound swallowed by the luxury hotel's stillness. The air conditioning hummed softly, the only witness to her movement. She glanced behind her once. No one. The elevator lights blinked amber, descending slowly from a higher floor. Her reflection in the polished metal doors showed not a bride, but a woman running out of time. She gripped the USB drive tighter. Somewhere, far above, thunder rolled across the desert, distant but approaching. As the doors opened, her pulse quickened, not from fear, but from inevitability. A man in a gray suit stood inside, expression unreadable. She hesitated for half a heartbeat before stepping in. The elevator doors closed, sealing the night around them. Inside the elevator, silence pressed close. The stranger beside Amelia stood perfectly still, tall, clean-cut, wearing a gray suit that fit too well to be casual. He didn't look at her, but his presence felt deliberate. The floor numbers glowed as they descended. 58, 47, 35. She could feel his attention, though he didn't speak. "You shouldn't be out this late," he said finally, his voice quiet, edged with something more than concern. Her throat tightened. "I couldn't sleep," she replied. A faint smile touched his lips, but not his eyes. When the doors opened at the 20th floor, he stepped out without looking back. The instant the doors closed again, Amelia exhaled, only then realizing her hands were trembling. The business lounge on the 15th floor was deserted, its windows framing the sleeping city below. Amelia sat at a sleek glass table, laptop open, the soft blue glow washing across her pale face. Her fingers moved quickly, inserting the USB and dragging encrypted files onto the screen. Progress bars filled and vanished, each second measured and heavy. A soft sound echoed behind her, footsteps, faint and steady. She froze. The progress bar hit 97%, 98%, 99%, complete. Snatching the drive free, she looked around. Nothing. But she felt it. Someone was there, watching. The lights flickered once, then steadied. She closed the laptop and slipped the drive into her robe's pocket, heart pounding. Outside, a security camera blinked red. When Amelia re-entered the suite, everything was exactly as before. Too exact. Kareem still lay on the bed, but his position had shifted slightly, as though he had awakened and pretended to sleep again. The champagne glasses were gone. Only one remained half full. She stood at the doorway for several seconds, measuring every detail, every sound. Then, slowly, she placed the USB beneath a flower vase on the table, a quiet act of concealment. As she turned toward the window, her reflection met his eyes in the glass. He was awake, watching her through the mirror. Neither spoke. For a long, quiet moment, they simply stared. Husband and wife, secrets layered between them like glass and air. It began with a whisper, her name spoken softly in the dark. "Amelia." She turned, startled. Kareem was standing now, his expression unreadable, the faint glint of hurt behind his calm. "Who sent the message?" he asked quietly. The air between them froze. She said nothing, only shook her head. "Don't lie," he continued, stepping closer. The tension was unbearable, words colliding with silence. Finally, she whispered, "You wouldn't understand." His voice broke then. "Try me." For a heartbeat, something human flickered between them. Grief, regret, truth. But it vanished as quickly as it came. Outside, the first lightning streak split the sky, illuminating their faces, one terrified, one betrayed. Thunder rolled across the city as rain began to pelt the glass windows. Amelia's reflection fractured into multiple shards as she backed away from Kareem. The tension between them had reached a breaking point. The hidden USB drive, the encrypted messages, and the second passport all threatening exposure. Kareem's calm facade cracked, his jaw tightened. "Tell me everything," he demanded, voice low but sharp, cutting through the ambient hum of the storm. She shook her head, retreating toward the bed, hands raised defensively. Outside, the wind rattled the balcony doors, the first flashes of lightning illuminating the room. Shadows danced across walls, mirroring the chaos in their hearts. Every second stretched unbearably as if time itself were holding its breath. One wrong step, one miscalculation could tip the balance from tense standoff to irreversible action. Kareem advanced slowly, eyes fixed on her trembling hands. "How long have you been lying to me?" he asked, voice taut. Amelia's lips quivered. The secrets she carried, the hidden identity, the offshore accounts, the foreign connections, all now pressed against her chest. She tried to explain, but every word faltered. Lightning lit the room again, revealing the gold chandeliers overhead, the scattered rose petals, the abandoned champagne. Symbols of a night meant to celebrate union, now twisted with fear. Kareem's hand brushed against hers as he attempted to seize the USB drive. She recoiled, stumbling backward toward the balcony. The storm outside mirrored the chaos within, elegant, beautiful, yet dangerous and uncontrollable. In the chaos, Amelia's foot caught the edge of the rug, sending her off balance. The USB drive flew from her grasp, landing on the marble floor with a metallic click. Kareem lunged instinctively, hands reaching for both the drive and her arm. Lightning cracked across the sky, reflecting in their wide, terrified eyes. For a split second, time froze. The storm outside roared like a living thing, echoing the scream lodged in her throat. Furniture trembled under the wind, glasses shook on the tables, and the delicate equilibrium of their world shattered. One wrong movement, one fleeting miscalculation, and the fragile perfection of their life would be forever destroyed. Kareem's hand collided with hers. The push was instinctive, not premeditated. Amelia teetered on the edge of the balcony. The wind outside tore at her veil, her hair flying in wild strands. The city lights below blurred in rain and motion. He reached to steady her, but momentum carried her forward, arms flailing. The cold metal of the railing scraped her fingers. A single scream swallowed by thunder echoed in the suite. Time stretched, cruel and endless. The USB drive slid under the nearby table, forgotten. In that instant, the luxury around them, glass, marble, chandeliers, and rose petals, transformed from symbols of love and wealth into witnesses of terror, powerless to intervene. The next moments passed in silence, broken only by the patter of rain. Amelia collapsed onto the marble floor inside, her body bruised, unconscious. Kareem fell to his knees beside her, hands trembling, the storm outside a stark reflection of his inner turmoil. The suite, once a palace of celebration, now felt empty, echoing with the unspoken. Secrets exposed, trust shattered, innocence lost. The USB drive and passport lay on the floor nearby, silent witnesses. Outside, the city continued, indifferent, glowing beneath the storm, unaware of the tragedy within. The first rays of dawn would soon arrive, but nothing could restore what had just been broken. Perfection, illusion, and the fragile bond of trust that had only hours before seemed eternal. The storm had passed, leaving the suite drenched and quiet. Amelia remained unconscious, sprawled across the marble floor, her white robe torn at the seam. Kareem sat beside her, face pale, fingers gripping the USB tightly. Every object in the room, champagne flutes, rose petals, scattered invitations, now seemed to mock the fragility of their lives. The first rays of dawn filtered through the floor-to-ceiling windows, painting the room in muted gold. For a moment, everything was still. Outside, the city awoke, ignorant of the chaos that had unfolded above. Inside, one man and one woman lay suspended between truth and illusion, the fragile veneer of wealth and love shattered, replaced by fear, uncertainty, and the silent weight of secrets revealed too late. Kareem's eyes fell on the USB drive, its metallic glint harsh against the soft morning light. He lifted it carefully, inspecting the contents in the laptop still open on the table. Multiple folders, encrypted files, offshore account details, proof of a secret life Amelia had meticulously hidden. Each click revealed more: financial transfers to Cyprus, unexplained communications, documents in another name. His jaw tightened, a mix of anger and disbelief surging beneath the surface. Outside, the hum of traffic grew louder, oblivious to the revelations within the suite. For Kareem, the illusion of their marriage had ended. Every carefully curated smile, every toast, now seemed a deliberate performance to mask deception. Kareem reached for his phone with trembling hands, dialing a number he had never imagined he would call. The operator on the other end was calm, professional. He explained concisely yet urgently that a medical emergency had occurred in his suite. While waiting for assistance, he studied Amelia's pale face, noticing bruises he hadn't observed in the dark. Questions collided with guilt and fear. How had everything gone so wrong? The paramedics would arrive within minutes, but nothing could undo the cascade of events. The first stage of accountability had begun, yet the shadow of secrecy remained, a reminder that some truths, once hidden, demanded reckoning. Paramedics arrived, moving quickly but carefully across the marble floors. Their eyes flicked to the woman, noting injuries and faint signs of shock. Kareem provided explanations, his tone controlled but stiff. They worked with quiet efficiency, measuring vitals, noting bruises, and preparing for transport. In the hallway, a security guard watched silently, recording time and movement. The elevator camera blinked red, capturing the suite entrance earlier in the night, a digital witness to events invisible to the human eye. Every step, every glance, would become part of a growing chain of evidence. Outside, the city thrummed with life, indifferent, its gaze blind to the unfolding drama above. As Amelia was transported to the hospital, Kareem remained behind, staring at the remnants of the night, the rose petals crushed underfoot, overturned glasses, and the USB lying in plain view. Questions consumed him. How much had he truly known? What had been orchestrated and what had been accidental? Each object in the room now seemed imbued with hidden meaning. Even the security footage, the silent hallway cameras, would become witnesses to truths no one had yet acknowledged. The luxury of the suite, once a symbol of triumph, now felt like a cage. Outside, the city continued oblivious, as shadows of doubt and suspicion settled over one man. Marking the beginning of an investigation he could neither control nor escape. Police arrived at the penthouse mid-morning, their black SUVs reflecting the early sunlight. Officers moved methodically, asking Kareem to recount the events. He spoke carefully, measured, each word precise yet guarded. Uniformed officers documented everything: the room, scattered rose petals, overturned champagne glasses, and the USB left behind. Forensics photographed the suite from every angle, their cameras capturing details that would later prove crucial. Kareem observed silently, a mixture of guilt, frustration, and suspicion swirling inside him. The weight of scrutiny pressed down, and the golden elegance of the suite now felt oppressive, a stark contrast to the night's earlier celebration. Every reflection in the mirrored walls became a reminder that secrets rarely remain hidden when the law begins to watch. Kareem was escorted to a quieter room to give his statement. Each question felt like a probe, each answer weighed for consistency. He recounted the evening with calm precision, describing the wedding, the suite, and the confrontation with Amelia. Yet beneath the surface, his mind raced. The USB, the encrypted files, the hidden passport. How much would the authorities discover? How much of Amelia's past would now intertwine with the present? Every answer required control, restraint, and careful omission. Outside the room, officers moved through the suite, touching nothing, capturing everything like an impartial witness to chaos, mystery, and betrayal. Forensics turned their attention to the laptop and the USB drive. The files revealed a labyrinth of accounts, transfers, and communications, secrets Amelia had carried into the night. Investigators meticulously documented every folder, every timestamp, every encrypted message. What had been hidden behind glamour and wealth was now exposed in cold digital detail. Kareem watched silently, feeling both vindicated and terrified. This was the world he had unknowingly entered, where love, trust, and secrecy collided, leaving behind only questions and evidence. The suite, now a crime scene, had become a testament to human fragility and ambition. Hours passed. Officers returned repeatedly, asking subtle questions, watching reactions, noting inconsistencies. Kareem's calm was beginning to crack under the weight of scrutiny. Every glance, every hesitation was analyzed. The more he thought about Amelia, her distant expressions, the locked phone, the hidden past, the more unease gnawed at him. Questions multiplied. Who had sent the message? Had someone followed her? What would the digital trail reveal? Outside, Dubai pulsed with life, indifferent to the unraveling of a marriage and the shadows creeping across a single night. Inside, tension was a living, breathing entity, marking each movement and each silent breath. By early afternoon, Amelia had been admitted to the hospital under observation, while Karim remained in the suite answering questions. Officers left behind documentation, photographs, and warnings about tampering with evidence. As he moved through the room, touching nothing, observing everything, he realized that the night had changed him forever. The fragility of trust, the weight of secrets, and the silent consequences of hidden lives pressed against him. Outside, the city shimmered with gold and steel, oblivious to the human story that had erupted above it. Karim's eyes lingered on the USB drive and scattered rose petals, symbols of both beauty and betrayal, marking the line between illusion and reality.